Okay.
Good evening, Melrose. This is Let's Talk Melrose. Melrose, I am Tom Shampoo.
I'm Sam Hammer, and with us,
two wonderful
GAIL
guests.
Gail,
And Jess Dugan.
Yes,
Hello,
welcome. Welcome.
Gail
This is a show where Melrosians talk to Melrosians about Melrose. Tom and I are trying to divvy up all of the intro that Catalini would bring normally.
Right.
He is not here, so we're going to let Gail do all of his jokes.
I feel
I'm
like
sorry,
I'm
but Sam, I don't have the little foghorn though.
Oh my God, we need the air horn. I feel like woefully unprepared for this. I have to act as a Tom Catalini stand-in. No, thank you. And I'm also now on a show with the three smartest people I can think of. I mean, this is going to be, I'm like a shadow in giant land here. This is going to be.
Yeah.
Glad to
Well,
have
then
you guys
just
here.
sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, it's kind of like
similar to last week. I have done all of the homework that we need for tonight. But first, we do need to give a DI shout out to the Can of Cheese team that made it to the second place, or they got really close to globals. They got really close. Congratulations is in order. So congrats, Can of Cheese. And then the other thing that I did, Tom and I were chatting earlier today,
Yes.
and he just started playing Wordle for the first time.
Yeah.
First time?
Do you guys play? Gail, do you play?
No, I do word bliss. I haven't done the Wordle yet.
I started playing. I played once, like 3 weeks ago, and then I started playing like this past week, like 3 or 4 days ago again. But go ahead.
Well, I have created our own Wordle, an original Wordle, Melrose edition. I'm putting it into the chat. So viewers at home, if you want to play and then comment in like they do. I have literally no idea how to play until like 2 weeks ago, and now I stay away because I get hooked, and I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
Jessie,
do you know the first rule of Wordle? Tom, you know?
I think it's use the same word every time. No, seriously, use the same first word every time.
I had to remind my mom when she first started playing because she would get it and then she would text our family group chat.
Yeah.
What it was.
That's the first rule.
Text the Wordle until midnight.
Don't give the solution away. That's the first rule. The second rule is use the same word.
Wordle.
You know, I did happen to hear on the news that Malden is the #1 Wordle community
in the country.
So maybe now, Sam, maybe that you posted your first Let's Talk Melrose Wordle. Maybe we can move up in the ranks there, because I'm from Malden, so I think it would be great to kind of have a little bit of a competition.
Well, this is no New York Times, but we're close.
Yeah, I think Jess, is it your mom? I think Jess's mom is onto something here. Just text everybody the answers, and then we'll all have 1s and 2s. That's the easy way. We'll skyrocket through the rankings.
The 8th graders that spend time riding in my car like to crowdsource their Wordle.
Wow, that's
right. So it's a pretty good strategy, but it's a little shady.
Well, speaking of not knowing things until it's finally happened or we've run out of time, the school committee may or may not take a vote tonight.
Who knows?
We don't. There will be a discussion on the mascot update change decision, but we're not sure if they're actually going to cast a vote or not. So Gail is our roving reporter watching both at the same time, as Jessie also gets live updates through text. So we're going to see. What do you expect? What do you think?
I think they'll probably stall it a little bit more for tonight. So who knows?
Yeah.
Right now they're into the budget. So it's a hefty conversation on the budget.
I was going to say they're doing some serious work. Not that the mascot isn't a serious conversation, but this is like a 4 or 5 month budget process, and they are deep in it right now.
Yeah.
I think tonight they're talking about special education, the special education department, and teaching and learning department. So they vet every piece of this in depth. So I think they are in the middle of that, that discussion right now, which is important and exciting.
When does that wrap up? When is it due to have that budget stuff finished?
I don't know the exact date of the vote.
Yeah, I don't either.
April
But
sometime.
it'll probably be the beginning of April, because then it has to go back to the mayor and then to the city council, by usually the end of April, 1st of May. So.
It's formally kicked off though in January, and then they go department by department with in-depth presentation. This is pretty huge, getting everything ready for their vote to send it forward to the mayor and the city council.
Have we ever had great discrepancies between the mayor and the city council and the budget that was presented to them, or is it always mostly just put through and signed off? I'm curious about this process.
Uh-oh.
I'm asking for a friend.
Well, in my 22 years, it really wasn't that controversial. There's a lot of times at the time, the Board of Aldermen, they would have questions for the school committee, or the superintendent. But no, I don't recall that it was a real, that we took money away. We can't add money, we can take money away. And I don't recall ever really doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, speaking of remembering, do you remember Healthy Melrose? Because it's back.
It's back. Yeah.
It's back.
And it's a great event. It's a great event down at Fred Greenfield there. Yeah, they do a great
Well, there'll be food trucks.
Pardon me?
Well, there'll be food trucks at Healthy Melrose.
Oh, healthy food trucks.
Of course. So raise your hands if this happened. Have you ever stopped by one of those booths to talk to somebody just to get the water bottle?
I don't know about water bottle, but I've gone to things to just, or I wait, I send a decoy, or I wait for a decoy, and then I go up from the side, and then I just
grab the water bottle and then slink away.
I like it. I'm already on your mail list. We're good.
No, but I mean, I've been to the event. It's actually a lot of fun. It's nice to walk around Fred Green and see people and chat. It's kind of a neighbors and community stuff. So
yeah, it's quite active for the kids too. The kids love it. They really run around and and each vendor, will do different things with the kids and whatnot. So it's a great take. It's a great take. As long as the weather's nice.
True. Yeah. Very true. So May 7th from 10 a.m. to 1:30 at the Fred Green Field. I'm excited. I like it too.
40 different vendors we heard.
Yep. Wow. Also, we're just going to keep rolling. Tomorrow night, the Melrose Reads kickoff event will be taking place. And here's the registration. Tomorrow at 7. It's online, right? Jessie?
On Zoom.
What should we expect?
Well, I think it's going to be great. There will be a few community members, our neighbors, who are going to share a little bit more about what Melrose Reads is, how it was, what the vision of it was, how the book was chosen, and ways that you can engage with the initiative. And then a few folks are going to share their own stories. The book this year is called American Like Me by America Ferrera. And it is a compilation of short stories of a whole bunch of people sharing their own story of how they are American. So a few of our neighbors are going to share theirs tomorrow night. So it is going to be a fantastic kickoff and a great way to kind of learn about different ways to engage over the next couple months.
Gail, have you been reading?
No, I'm sorry. I missed that boat.
But hey, you can still get on. I have Jessie's copy if you want to borrow.
It's making the rounds.
It is making
the library had like 90 copies, I think, right?
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
85
we'll get you in there, Gail. We got you.
Okay.
We'll
put me on the list.
Okay. And then Tom, you got something to ask?
I do. All right, here we go. Ready? A quick trivia question for the three of you. Which of these people was not born in Melrose? Former Red Sox play-by-play announcer Don Orsillo, current Let's Talk Melrose host Tom Catalini, four-time Boston Marathon winner Bill Rogers. Anyone?
Tom
Anyone?
Catalini.
Yes, it's true. That's our esteemed absent host tonight, Tom Catalini. But yes, Donna Sillo and Bill Rogers were both born here. That is our trivia question for the night, leading into the 21st annual Trivia Bee fundraiser, which is this coming Saturday at 7 p.m. With the Bridge Melrose. And if you go to the bridgemelrose.org, you'll be able to sign up a team. I think this year's team is up to 6 people. It's a remote event. It's not in person. It's normally at Memorial Hall. But this year it's remote. Get a team together, have a lot of fun, hang out together, and maybe have a cocktail or two while you do that. So it's a lot of fun, and it supports the Bridge.
Could I put a plug in for the community too? Because what the Bridge did, we joined up with Buckaloo's, Beacon Hill, and Petroni's. So if you go into those stores on, between now and Saturday night at Petroni's, they're giving a percentage of their sales that night and it could be delivery or or just go into the store, and they're giving a percentage of that to the Bridge. Rebecca over at Beacon Hill has special wine that she's put aside, that if you go in and mention that you want, and I think it's a Pinot Noir and a Chardonnay that she put aside. If you want to buy that, then a certain percentage of that will go towards the Bridge. And Robin over at Buckaloo's is doing a charcuterie kit.
Oh,
so
nice.
if you go in there and ask for that, those proceeds a percentage of those proceeds will go to the Bridge. So it was we figured people, if they had a team of 6, they could get together at one house this year, because hopefully those 6 people will be in your little pod there, and you're comfortable getting together at the house and kind of supporting the Melrose community and the businesses by doing that.
Is there a silent auction this year?
Oh, yep. Then there's the silent auction, and that will start Saturday and run for a week, I believe. And there'll be a link to that so that you can go in and do the silent auction.
Those are really great.
Yes.
They get really good.
We have a lot of gifts this year. A lot. People were generous, and people outside of Melrose. We've been really going outside of Melrose, so there's some good time ones. So
that's amazing.
The Melrose Education Foundation has a flamingo team entering.
Oh, great!
Contest.
Great, nice going.
Yes, we're very excited. We've phoned a few friends. We're bringing in some ringers.
Yep, great.
Going for the win. Flamingos for the win.
We'll go down and buy a few charcuterie kits and put that together. And whoever whose house is hosting, they don't have to do too much work. You can get wine, you can get charcuterie, and you can get pizza or whatever.
I love it.
Nice.
I'll be serving food and keeping people's drinks full.
There you go.
As everyone else taps their trivia knowledge.
Oh my gosh, amazing. What?
We have a trivia fact correction from Bob Bell. Boom. Bill Rogers was not born here, but born elsewhere. Hartford, it looks like.
You're getting fact checked.
I'm getting fact checked live by Bob.
Wow.
Thank you, Bob, for that. I appreciate that.
I was going to make a joke about you being terrible with facts, but you're really the best at knowing everything.
All right, I'm off.
It's true.
Apologize.
Oh, it's all right.
There we go. All right, back to it.
You know what I'm really off at?
What's that?
I'm really terrible at making sure that little saplings stay alive. So this year, our friend Cleo Mook, the child of Alistair Mook and Jane Roper, contacted us directly at LTMM to make sure that we shared that Treeplenish is back. So there are a few ways to get involved. One way, like I did, is to buy some saplings. I even bought special pots. I tended to them on my front porch. I did all of the things, and they all decided they would rather live elsewhere. If you're like me, you do not have to buy the saplings. You can volunteer to plant saplings on April 30th. So that's another option. And you can have a team for that. So I might do that this time. So Treeplenish, it's back.
Treeplenish is back.
We have a few saplings. I highly recommend grabbing a few, and that there's a quite a bit of space near our house that would welcome any of your unwanted saplings.
Did you cover them? How did they survive?
Well, whether they survived, mostly the bunny situation. I was looking at them. We planted, I think, 3 or 4, and I was looking at them just this weekend, and it looks like they've been nibbled on quite a bit. So we may have to give it another go and maybe put something over them to keep the bunnies away. They like to go right into the ground, Sam. Those front porch pots aren't going to cut it.
I know. I got reprimanded for that too from someone else, from a Ute.
We planted some saplings years ago at our house, and they were Rosa Sharons that somebody had given me, and from her tree, and we probably did about 4 or 5 of them. And what we did, we planted them next to the foundation, and then when they got a little taller and a little hardier, then we planted them wherever we wanted them to grow, and they've done well. I still drive by and see them.
Oh, how sweet. That's so nice. So last week, the team mentioned the Bill Forbes dedication ceremony, but Gail, I know you had worked with him. So can you just comment on?
Oh, Bill was bigger than life. He really was. He added a lot of humor to to our meetings at times, but always the good guy that came out with, if you want to call it, the compromise, sometimes when, issues were tough, he always had a way of getting us together to come to the right decision. Very generous, would do anything for anybody. He was just a real good guy. Shoes were never filled, because he was just that kind of a guy. He was a great guy. That's all I can, really. He just generous. Had his heart in the right place to do the right thing.
Well, I regret never meeting him, but I have only heard wonderful things.
He really. Yeah. He
So
was bigger than life.
There's a dedication ceremony on March 26th, which is coming up soon, 11 a.m. at the Knoll. So pop over and pay your respects.
Great.
And then after the day before, you should grab your first cup of coffee in the morning at the Melrose Diner. The Mayor Broder will be there, and now I know where I'm going after drop off.
and you know what, Sam? The Melrose Diner is still in Ward 5.
It's like nothing else is.
Right.
We're losing Crescent even.
Yeah.
But yes, so I'm excited. Paul Broder will be at the Melrose Diner to host Good Morning with the Mayor Friday, 8 to 9 a.m. It's hopping there usually at that time. Also, kind of the classics of Melrose are down there. Jack Higgins is usually there. It's a good crew. So I'm excited to maybe just eavesdrop a little bit, and listen to see what's going on.
It's nice. I'm not sure that everybody knows that, but I think it's nice that Paul is out there doing that. He's meeting folks at different coffee shops on Friday mornings. So if you do have questions, or if you want to sit down and chat with Mayor Broder,
I love that.
This is a chance, yeah.
And I think next round should be happy hours around town.
There you
don't
go.
really do that.
There we go.
There you go.
For those who work in the mornings, we can have an evening session.
And then I'll see if they will put my egg tab on Broder's, my egg bill on Broder's tab. So we're gonna find out.
They've got some generously sized omelets down there at the Melrose Diner.
I can tell you, Sam Hammer likes her scrambled eggs.
How do you know?
I've gone to breakfast with you. We've had breakfast.
And I brought a bowl over to your house yesterday.
Yeah, you brought a bowl of scrambled eggs over. That's what I know.
Yes. Speaking of scrambling things, oh my gosh, another transition on point.
Well done.
So my co-conspirator, Jess Dugan, and I have launched our first Melrose Together conversation, or it's out on the pod, in the pod universe. So Jessie, can you describe it while I paste the link?
Oh my gosh. It was so great. So it's called One Small Step. And it's modeled after the StoryCorps initiative. You guys have talked about it on the show before, but it's modeled after StoryCorps. And the intention is to bring together folks who may be kind of on different sides of social and political issues, to have them come together and not talk politics at all, but just to talk about who they are and what their values are and what they care about. So we had 2 fantastic Melrosians take they were brave, and they were our first folks to step forward, Rilda Kissel and Cal Finacchiaro. Did I say it right?
Yep.
Not bad.
They were just so it was so lovely to listen to them. And I just wanted to say publicly to thank them for doing that and for sitting down and listening to each other. So the conversation is out on so many different streaming platforms. It's alarming. And officially uploaded into the National Archives and the StoryCorps on the StoryCorps website, which is really cool. So you can listen to them. Sam probably shared the link on Facebook. And there's more to come. And we really love for more people to get involved. So if at all you're interested in sitting down to a pretty informal but powerful conversation with a neighbor, join us, sign up.
Yeah. Tom's offered. Gail, you and I kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yes, yeah. No, I enjoyed listening to Rilda and Cal, and actually learning a little bit about each of them as they had the conversations, because I don't know Rilda at all, So it was very nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're really grateful to MMTV sharing their podcast recording studio and helping with the tech and just with their emotional support and encouragement. There may or may not be prizes for those who participate.
Now, nobody needs a new mug, but I have to say this one does come with a wood top that can also act as a coaster.
Ooh.
And
Fancy.
it fills a heavy pour. Just saying.
For those heavy pour people, that's the mug for you.
Linda Apple and I were cheering with our Melrose Talks Together mugs on Friday night. So
nice, that's right. And Jess, I'll mention quickly, because I was telling Sam the story that my wife Linda and I both listened to that recording, and it was fantastic. But we brought it up at dinner with my daughter, who's a junior in college. And so it became a conversation around that very topic of getting to know people who you don't know in a different way, and not having adversarial positions, or not creating adversarial places just because you think that's where you stand. If someone's socially one place and someone else is another place, it doesn't mean that you don't have anything in common.
That's right.
So I think having those conversations is really great. So well done to both of you for that.
Yeah.
We got two more coming up next week to record, and it'll be epic. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic.
Our hope is to release one a week. We'll see if we can keep up with that. But that's the hope. And we've had quite a great response from community members. It says registration, but it's simple. It's just a little bit of info so that we can match you with someone who will be who is a little bit different than you. And maybe kind of outside of the bubble that we all function in a bubble. So someone who's outside of your quote unquote bubble. So we're excited. And Gail, join us. We're putting you on the spot.
Yeah. No, I'm getting the strength to do it.
Yeah, it's nice to listen to a few and kind of understand how it goes. So I completely understand.
Yeah.
So nobody's commented on this Wordle. I thought it was a slam dunk. I'm going to put the link up again. Yeah. Post your score or whatever.
My mom would have shared the answer by now.
Can you create your own Wordle? I guess you could.
Yes.
Okay.
Through this, if you click on this link, it'll bring you to the site where you can go ahead and create a new one. This one is Melrose specific. It is
that's
something to do with Melrose. So, so speaking of something very specific, go ahead.
No, snapped. I've snapped because I was going to ask a question about the Wordle thing, but I'm going to leave it alone. Do the Wordle or try to do it and see where it goes.
So another thing about Melrose is that Melrose, we say, runs on volunteers. Yes, of course, there's paid staff in City Hall. We're very grateful. Thank you for coming to pick up my stuff today. But we do have a lot of volunteers that help the city function. And so between last week and an email that Councillor Migliarelli sent around, an email that she sent around this week, I didn't realize there were 21 boards and commissions in the city.
Yeah.
21. And so I'll put the link up because then I wanted to know what they all were. And it includes things like school committee and things that are pretty obvious, but things that I didn't realize were that obvious. So some members have expired terms, 9 are chair. Like, so there's a lot of discussion around the boards and commissions and seeing what's open and available and how do we get information out there to people who want to participate. And so I was on the Women's Commission. Jessie was on the school committee. Gail, were you on it? Now you're on the traffic commission, right?
I
Gail,
was on the traffic commission. Yes. Yeah.
And so I can tell you my story about getting on the Women's Commission, but I don't know what is like the normal process or like how this really functions in other boards and commissions.
You want me to say something?
You probably have the best answer.
Well, you know what? I have to say, Paul Mayroder, when he got into office at the beginning, what was it, November? So it may have been sometime during that winter. He did put out a press release asking people, and I think he might have listed the commissions that were there. And if you have any interest in this, let my office know, so that's one way. Another way, I know when I was mayor and there were a few that people had expired on specific commissions or were leaving for one reason or another, it was the chairman of the committee kind of, came to me and said, well, we kind of talked, do you have anybody in mind? And a lot of times they know their circle and who were interested in that. So it kind of went that way for a couple of people. I didn't do too many appointees in my short time there, but and then through the years, I mean, they were just always sent down from Mayor Dolan's office. You know what? I think I used to see press releases out there, and then certainly just kind of word of mouth talking, or I know sometimes, Mayor Dolan would be talking to someone, hey, you sound like you'd be a good candidate for this commission, I'll keep you in mind for that and things like that, so
it's such a great way for people to get involved.
Absolutely.
And for the mayor to really tap the expertise in the community. I think that I was looking at the list of them. So 2 of our city councilors requested more information about where we are currently with all of our boards and commissions. There's been a lot going on the last 2 years. So I think this is layman's terms, but I think they asked for an update on where we are, who's expired, who needs to be renewed. And I was looking at the response to that request from the mayor's office. And what I was most surprised by, that some of the commissions seem to be kind of ad hoc appointments, and others are really specific, like the Liquor Commission. It needs to be 1 Democrat, 1 Republican, and 1 unregistered community member. So they're all really different in kind of what's required and how they're built.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know from that press release, whether Mayor Broder, what kind of a response he got from that. And that's where he's getting, got some of the names to send down. I'm not sure. I'm not in that kind of a loop anymore. So
just loopy.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
I know the one thing about Melrose is that our elected officials are easy to get a hold of. My first meeting was with Mike Zwerko on his stoop at like 6:30 in the morning on a weekend. And I asked, could he introduce me to the mayor, which he did. And then I had a meeting with Mayor Dolan, which was wonderful. And I said, look, like, I would love to serve on a board or commission if there's room, except for planning. I won't do that. But no pressure. Like, if there isn't a spot, like, I'll just run for office. So I think he called me within 48 hours. No, I think he did call a while later as seats were turning over on the Women's Commission, and I loved serving there. I had not met the commission beforehand. I knew a few of the members just from being around, but I know when we were going through vacant seats again, we did a lot of active recruiting as a commission, putting it on our Facebook, putting it out into different social circles, kind of like outside of our, spheres or of our 6 degrees. And then there were moments where people who sent in their application, they would come to the commission meeting and we would speak with them beforehand, and then kind of send it along. We didn't have a lot of demand, so it was a nice, friendly process. But it's just interesting how how these things are built. And again, these are, to Jess's point, like we're tapping into the expertise of the community to essentially run this function of the city. So.
I was just thinking about it, that I remember when Mayor Broder put out that press release on the paper, because I did respond to it and said I was interested in the Board of Health or the Traffic Commission. And so, that's how I got to be on the Traffic Commission, I guess, when there was an opening.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
It does require people to be ready to speak up.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's a little bit of like self-selection, which I think is important because it is a volunteer role and people need to be willing.
Right.
But I also think there's an opportunity. There's so many. It was like over, I'm not going to remember the number, 100, 200 people who serve on these commissions.
Oh, probably 150 maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such an amazing opportunity to engage the community in the work of our city. So there, so I think it sounds like when a press release goes out or when the invitation goes out more broadly, it's that invite. Sometimes people who may really be well qualified need a little encouragement. Or sometimes you want to go seek out people who maybe will bring a little bit of diversity of thought and experience to those positions too. So I think, I guess that's what I would hope, and I haven't looked too closely at it, but that's what I would guess is part of the mayor's process in this.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Bennett spoke at public comment, Monday night, and he was kind of concerned with the process. And I don't think there really is a step-by-step process. And I don't know what will happen with that,
Well, it's interesting. So I worked for the city of Boston, which is a much bigger place. And a lot of these positions that are on boards or commissions are full-time paid people that the mayor hires at their discretion. But then if we go one town up in Wakefield, the board of trustees is an elected body. You have to run for that, which is also kind of cool. So it's just interesting to see. I don't know. Actually, I'm going to pay more attention, I think.
In Wakefield, being a town, and not just Wakefield, but their board of health members are elected by the public. They have their own lighting commission. So they really elect a lot of their commissioners. Yeah. And I don't know if that's true in all towns or not. Like if that's just the town government, I'm not sure about that.
I don't know.
Gail, as a member of the traffic commission, like what do you do?
We meet quarterly. We meet quarterly, and people write to Elena Proakis Ellis. Any concerns they have about parking, traffic, speed, whatever the issue is. And then it gets on our agenda. And that's when we sit and we discuss them. I mean, we go on site and, let's just take Crescent Ave. If there was, somebody that had issue with the speeding on Crescent Ave or parking on Crescent Ave or something like that, we'd go down and kind of look at it. I know a lot of times we get things about parking. And so I'll go down and, I kind of will pull in and out of people's driveways when they say they can't get out of the driveway.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you tell people you're doing this, or do you
No. Sometimes, every now and then somebody will come out and I said, I'm just from the traffic commission and we're just, because they'll be looking for, do not park behind, do not block driveway or something like that. And everybody, they could be up on every street all over the place. So you have to go in. So I go in with my SUV and kind of go in and out and kind of, it's fun.
Come by Crescent Ave around 7:45 or 8 o'clock in the morning. That's when you got to check the driveways.
Tom, I am very familiar with that.
I know. We've actually talked about that.
That's what he's talking about is the Lincoln School drop-off.
Lincoln School drop-off
behind the school. We have we have a new phenomenon of one caregiver dropping off that likes to do a 3-point K turn at
Nice.
Crescent and Everett
Oh no,
while
that's the
everybody's
worst place.
coming. Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah.
You got to go around.
Yeah.
Same white SUV every day.
Mhm.
Oh.
Every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We can satisfy some people and some people you don't. I mean, because we really try to make the best decision, for the greater good, as I've always said, and
Right.
and what's going to be safe.
Yeah.
We want to make sure people are safe. So,
But wait, once you back in and out of people's driveways and do your GAIL assessment, what do you do? Do you actually vote, or do you make a recommendation to the
Well, we
city
discuss
on
it.
action?
we discuss it at the traffic commission meetings.
Yep.
And then we come up with the vote, whether, what to do. Does it need some sort of signage or not signage or?
And then is your vote binding?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So that's a big deal.
Yeah. There it is. It is.
I mean, the liquor commission votes on important things.
yeah. Why didn't you pick that one?
That's even the most important, Jess.
Yes.
The liquor commission.
Why was that not on your top
these are
list?
volunteer roles, but they have a serious impact on our
Well,
community.
Look at the planning board.
Mm.
Yep.
The Board of Appeals, the zoning board of appeals, they get a stipend, I believe. They get a little bit, but still, it's not a full-time, job or anything. These boards and commissions, some of them really, do
The school
carry a lot
committee
of weight.
doesn't even get a stipend. Hold on a second.
Pardon me?
The school committee doesn't
I know.
even get a stipend.
I know.
Hold on.
Let's back this reel up a little bit here.
Mm.
Well, you did bring up something, Gail, that does bother. But I would say bother,
Yeah.
but it is kind of a quandary to the LTMM team, and that is when as a former alderwoman, city councilor, like, when do you get those agendas? When do you have time to read them? When do they get published? Because we can't seem to keep up on what the heck's going on Monday night.
Oh, well, we would get them by Thursday, the Thursday before for a Monday night.
And they're published on Thursday. They're public.
Yeah, they have to be 48 business hours beforehand, I believe is what it is. Yeah. Yeah. So no, you get your stuff, for traffic commission, we usually get the agenda, by the weekend, and we meet on a Wednesday. So, we have a little time to kind of go around and check out things.
So Thursday night. So maybe we should move the show to Thursday night so that we can be fully versed on what's coming up next Monday.
Scour the agenda. People will love to hear that.
I want to get ahead
Item
of
number
this.
7.
We're always reporting what's happened. I want to get
Yeah.
ahead of it at some point. Like have a Sunday morning show where we run through what the heck's about to happen.
Yeah, no, I believe it's Thursday by end of day or something that they have to be out in public.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll pay closer attention to that too. Although sometimes they're very large.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And they are.
All right. Well, we're like wrapping up. Anything else? Any last
It's a lot.
speak
We have
now
a
or
lot
forever
going on.
hold your peace?
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel, Gail? Did you have fun?
I was just going to say, shall I say that it's been fun? It's been fun. I'm loosening up a little bit here, and
Just in time for the
I
dance
know,
off.
we're almost done.
I'm just getting started, Sam.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll have an after-hour show with Mayor Inferna. We'll send the link out separately.
Oh.
Private VIP. A VIP after party.
And where's our liquor commission for that?
Right.
Jess, any last words? Any words of wisdom?
I miss Tom Catalini.
Oh,
Yeah, boy.
and Jen.
There was no air horn.
I was going to
There's
say,
no
there
air
was
horn
a-
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot less sound effects, but for me, this was really great. I think it was good. I had fun. I laughed anyway. All right. And with that, you all know how the show ends because you watch every week, right?
Oh, goodness.
Right.
Every week.
Yes. So there's dancing. All right. Let me see if I can get it close enough to the mic. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear our theme song as we dance it
Nice
off.
and loud.
Oh, yeah.
Thumb-
Oh, we're really missing Tom because he
Oh,
usually
this is
We need
pathetic.
this. Yeah, this is. That doesn't work. That doesn't work. We need Catalini.
All right. Tom,
Good night.
bring back your gizmo.